friends, May Flaum here for Jesse James Beads, and it is my pleasure today to introduce you to La Loteria. This is the brand new bead mix from Jesse James Beads, and oh my goodness, it is packed with so many colors and textures. We have tassels, we have metals, we have glass beads, we have charms, we have so much to love here. And today I'm going to be making a bracelet. Now, my concept when I was looking at this mix is I thought I want a bracelet. I want it 2 or 3 wraps around, probably just 2. And I'm going to use the La Luna charm to anchor everything, or in other words, start the process. I'm also going to pull out some thunder polish beads, little beads. I just think they'll be helpful. I've got some chain. We've got some different things now. I'm going to just be using beading wire and stringing. You could also do some wire wrapping or some simple wire loops and create more of a link style bracelet. In fact, let me show you one here. This is one that I've got that I like a lot, and this one's coming to Instagram soon. So you could do that where you individually did the beads, depending on which beads you want to use. Me, I want to use a ton of these beads. I really want to load it up. So I'm just taking a gold crimp tube and putting it there on my beading wire, centering it on there, and then making sure everything is nice and straight before I get out my crimping pliers. And then I'm going to go ahead and crimp that into place and then use the front part of the tool to round it up. If you would like to use a bead cover, you certainly could. If you wanted to not use a bead cover, I don't think I'm going to, so that's fine as well. And then we get started, and I'm just going to be stringing. So just to show you, this is 16 inches of beading wire. It's going to go around my wrist twice. So it's 16 inches because I know I also want some chain. I like an adjustable bracelet. That's my thing. So I know that this will be plenty, and I can just enjoy the process. Now, I do not have a plan in the sense that I know I'm going to use most of this mix because the 16 inches is a lot. And I know I'm going to use just as much variety of these beads as possible. So I'm just going along and seeing what I like. The one thing I will keep in mind is from about 6 to 8 inches within the strand, that's about where it's going to circle back around to La Luna. So I'm just kind of keeping in mind where the charm is and what's going to be around the charm at that point. As you can see, there are so many unique beads in here, and I'm just loving every one, and I'm really just pulling things out and stringing them. And then every once in a while, those little tiny beads that I pulled out, I like some small, solid, basic beads to mix in. Oh, this is a rose bead. This is not in the mix. This is separate, but for sale at Jesse James Beads separately. But I saw that, and that kind of mustard golden color, it is so perfect of a match with this mix. I knew this was the project to pull it out and get it used. If you're not familiar with those, there's a link in the video description to this new bead mix, as well as that particular bead as well, which, I mean, it's just such a beautiful mix in here. And I love how the aquas and the mustards, then we've got like there we've got a clear bead that's really pretty, and pinks. There's just so much to love here. Once I've hit the end, I'm going to put my chain onto the La Luna clasp with a jump ring. And then on the other end, I'm going to repeat the process with the crimp tube. So crimp tube and then lobster clasp, and then loop it around, tie it together. Not too tricky, pretty simple, because I really wanted this bracelet just to be wrapped around. And the chain element I like for 2 reasons. Number 1, it makes the bracelet adjustable. Number 2, it makes it so I can dangle little things off the end, and you know I'm going to, because I love a bracelet with a bit of dangle. All right, so on this second end, I'm just making sure I like to pull the beading wire through a couple of beads and then trim it off and then kind of adjust there. That's just personally how I like to do it. And I like to look through and make sure that all the beads feel like they're the correct tension, like not too tight, not too loose. Once I've got that done, you guessed it, we get our crimp pliers in there and press gently in the back channel and then up into the front and around to round it up, as you see me doing there. And this is just a little lobster clasp. Whatever you've got, whatever you like to use here will work. I'm liking the lobsters for the bracelets because then they're adjustable. And here, I'm just making sure I put it around my wrist twice. I'm cutting the chain at the point I know it's going to be a good fit. It's going to be, have a little bit of dangle, but not too much, so that I know it's going to be adjustable up and down just a bit. So once I have trimmed that, I just need to kind of bend and it'll pop off. No chain wasted. That chain will be used. This is my third or fourth project with this chain. I just keep using it. I just love it. And again, available at Jesse James Beads. So for the charms, and this is optional, you could do a simple wire loop or a wrapped loop. I just think it's fun to make little charmy things to dangle off the end. And I also found, again, not part of the mix that we're featuring here, but just in the Jesse James Beads shop, I found some cha-cha tassels that were super cool that I think would be really great additions. And what you see me doing here, I'm just doing my wire wrapping nope, sorry, that one was a simple loop, and just attaching different things here to the end of my bracelet. And for the simple, all you have to do is just twist in and out, back and forth there to open it up. This one was an eye pin to start with, so that little loop was already there where I can put there's that cha-cha tassel I was talking about that is a great fit, but again is not a part of a mix. It's something that I have here from Jesse James Beads and I added in. I love finding things that I can mix and match and add in. Just one of my personal favorites. We'll also do a head pin or two here just because I think it's fun. I like doing it. I think that there's my little thunder polish bead there. I think it's a lot of fun, and how much you do, what weight do you want it? How much weight do you want added on? If you don't care, great. If you do care, then you might want to use lighter beads or fewer beads. If you want to do wire wrapping, and if you check out the Jesse James Beads YouTube page, you will find a lot of videos on basics. You'll find a ton of tutorials and different ways that you could style this mix. Of course, I'm just doing a little simple little wire wrapped loop here and then trimming off my excess with my little pliers. Of course, I will make sure that that is all secure and nothing's sticking out, nothing's poking. And this bracelet is ready to go, ready to wear. I am super excited about this mix and how this bracelet came out. I would love to know, what would you make with this mix? What do you envision? Or what Jesse James products do you have or do you know that you think would be a good match with this? Here you see my finished bracelet, and you'll also see there in the distance a pair of earrings. If you follow Jesse James Beads on Instagram or TikTok, you'll see how I made those earrings. Super simple, lots of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in and for this first look at the La Loteria mix. Be sure to subscribe to Jesse James Beads so you don't miss any future videos. We'll see you next time.